Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make is chocolate chip pumpkin bread. It actually comes out more like a cake, but it is a great tasting little cake, or if you prefer to call it a bread with coffee, tea, that type of thing, or at breakfast. So let's get started. In a large bowl, we're going to put in 2 cups of granulated sugar in, and we're also going to be putting in 3/4 of a cup of butter. Now if you don't want to use butter, then go ahead and you can use margarine instead. It's up to you. And I've had it at room temperature, and I like to cut it up in small pieces because I think it breaks up and creams a lot faster that way. This particular recipe I generally do make with my stand-up mixer, but due to the video I'm using the hand mixer. So I'm just going to bring that sugar and butter together. And I'm also going to be putting in 4 eggs that I've had at room temperature, and I'm going to just put one in at a time and beat that on high. Let's put the second one in. And our third. And there's our fourth being beaten in that mixture. And just beat it till it all comes together. Get to the bottom of that hole and work both sides. And I'll show you what we have so far. That has creamed nicely together. Alright, the next thing that we're going to put in is a 1/2 cup of water. And we're going to beat that in. You're also going to be needing 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Now you don't want to put in the pumpkin mix, just pure pumpkin, solid pumpkin. And that was 15 ounces. And then I'm going to beat that in together till it's smooth on high. And this doesn't take very long to put together. Alright, and then we have that started. And we'll just set that aside for the moment. In this bowl we need all-purpose flour, and you're going to need 4 cups of that. We're going to put 2 teaspoons of baking soda in. We're going to put 1 teaspoon of salt with our flour. We're going to also put 1 teaspoon of cinnamon in. That was 1 teaspoon. And we're going to put in a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And I'm just going to try to just, with a spoon, bring that together a little bit, just to mix it together. And now I'm going to start putting the dry into the wet ingredients, a little at a time. And on low to start so that the flour doesn't go all over the kitchen. And we'll put a little bit more in. Now these particular little cakes or breads, they can be baked in 2 of your square loaf pans, or I like to actually use this particular pan. It has 4 wells to it, and I usually can get 8 out of that. But if you don't have that pan, then go ahead and use your regular loaf pans, but you will need 2 of them. 2 8x4-inch loaf pans. Okay, let's put the rest of the flour in and get that mixed and beaten in there. This is when it becomes quite thick, so the hand mixers struggle just a little bit, even on high. And I just want to make sure that everything's brought in together and well combined. Okay, shut that off for a moment and just clean up these sides here so that my beaters can get into the mixture. And just, combine it till you really see everything come together. And that should probably take you a minute or two, depending on your mixer, the speed, that kind of thing. Okay. Now you're going to be needing, I usually use the tiny little mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you want to put 1 cup in your batter. And then just on high, just bring it all together. Bring the chips into the batter. Okay. Now also in reserve, you're going to need 2 tablespoons separated of your chocolate chips, your miniature chocolate chips, about 2 tablespoons. We put a cup into this, but 2 tablespoons to set aside. And there you have this beautiful pumpkin batter. And then I like to fill the well about a little less than half that I put in the pan and just even it out. Now you're going to bake these at 350 degrees. If you're using these little loaf pans, they're going to come up pretty quick, within about 30 minutes. So start checking them around 25 minutes for baking. If you're going to use the traditional 8x4 square loaf pans, they're going to take you a bit longer. They could take anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So check them with a toothpick, insert it in the center. When it comes out clean, you're gonna, that the cakes are done. And put them on a cooling rack. Now these little cakes too, especially if you're making the loaf ones, let them sit for almost 45 minutes before you cut them. Otherwise they will break up. They will break apart. Now I have some to show you what they do look like when they come out, and you can see how cute and how pretty these little loaves, a nice golden medium brown, that they come out. What I also almost forgot to tell you, with the those 2 tablespoons of the miniature chocolate chips, you actually just sprinkle a few on the top. You're also going to need your choice of nut, whether it's a walnut or an almonds or whatever you prefer. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons of those, and just sprinkle a little nuts on top. Now if you don't want to put nuts, then skip that. Then also have about 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar, and then just sprinkle a little granulated sugar on the top before they go in the oven at 350 degrees. And they will come out, as I said, and showing you this a second time, how pretty that they've come out. I'm going to cut one open to show you what they look like on the inside. So you have this beautiful, moist, and delicate batter on the inside. So to call it a bread really is what the recipe calls for. They are called a bread, but they really come out more like a cake. So give this recipe a try. I hope you like this one. If you do, leave a comment. I'd like to hear from you, and I appreciate you leaving a comment. As always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.